Dead Leaves, translated to Autumn Leaves, and this has to be one of the prettiest tunes to play on the guitar. What I played in the intro is my arrangement of this song. Full tabs of this are available on my Patreon page. There's so many cool things happening, and the best thing, you can make it as easy or as complex as you want. I'm slowly building it up, but in the end it doesn't get too complex, and I think anyone with just a little bit of practice would be able to play this. This whole piece is in the key of G minor, and that's where the melody picks up. It starts on that G note over here. And it's important to keep the melody and the lyrics in mind. It's a nice way to learn the song. So let's start very minimalistic, as I do in my arrangement. I just love how this sounds. So G minor was the key, and there's two cool things happening in this chord progression that I want to highlight, but you don't really have to care about it. But there's two 2-5-1s happening, a major 2-5-1 and a minor 2-5-1. And we start with the major 2-5-1 in B flat, and B flat is the relative major of G minor. So although we start in G minor, sort of, the chord is not playing, but we're thinking it's there because the melody picks up from there. That's basically G minor, but then we play these three notes, falling leaves, and leaves lands on the first chord that we're actually playing, C minor 7. And this is the 2 of a 2-5-1, C minor, F7, and B flat major 7. The first three chords that we're playing. So just so you know, 2-5-1 in B flat. The falling leaves, C minor 7. I'm playing it like this. I think it's nice. And then after that C minor 7, I'm playing an F, just a triad. And jazz guys would not agree, but I think because we're building it up slowly, this is a very nice way to not put too much tension in here already. Just a triad. Nothing wrong with that. So, like this. And then the melody picks up again from that F point. Drift by my window. And then we land on the major third of B flat over here. B flat major 7, like this. And I'm not hitting the high E at this point to keep it a little bit more dim. And then we go to the E flat major 7. This is the 4 chord in B flat. You can see it like this. Just this voicing, I love how it sounds. The major third on top again. But you can skip that over here. Just play those three notes. I think that sounds nice. And then the falling leaves. This leads us to another 2-5-1, starting on A minor 7 flat 5. Usually played like this. To D7, which resolves to G minor. So that's another 2-5-1, but now leading to a minor key. 2-5-1 in G minor is A minor 7 flat 5, D7, and G minor. So we started on that E flat major 7. The falling leaves. And I'm playing just these three notes because the melody is quite low in the chord. We have to be careful what notes we play. And I'm playing these three, which does not include that flat 5. So is it a minor 7 flat 5? Well, yeah, we're thinking it's there. We're sort of envisioning it being here. We're hearing it in our minds. But I'm also playing that one note right on the 4th beat. Because it's a nice resolution, semitone resolution to that D7th chord over here. Of red and gold. That's the last phrase, starting on that D7th chord. And we just go off again from the D, E, F sharp. And that's quite interesting in the key of G minor to have an E and an F sharp. So basically now we're using the melodic minor scale. G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. And that's why it works so well over that dominant 7th chord of red and gold, ending on that minor third of the G chord. is basically a whole big chunk of this whole tune, because the second time around we play exactly the same thing. The lyrics are changing, but for us guitarists that are just playing a chord melody piece, well, we have to do something, because we cannot play the same thing twice. We lose the listener that way. We have to spice it up, build the tension a little bit more. So what can we do? We can expand the chords. We can use dynamics as well to play a little bit louder. So the intensity is we're gonna turn it up a notch. Let me grab my pick because it just fell on the ground. You see, it's the same chords, the same melody, but it sounds lifted up. I see your lips, C minor 7, just playing the whole chord. And now I am playing that F7th chord over here. Just a full bar chord, not a typical jazz voicing, to be honest. Usually they would play like this. Keep it a little bit shorter. Just make it dramatic. Let's do this. The summer kisses. That's the line to the B flat major. Just strum the entire chord with that high E. And then I'm grabbing this chord, E flat major 7. And now we can play the melody like this. The sunburned hand. And on that A minor 7 flat 5, we're doing two things. Just playing the melody. Sort of doing an enclosure of that D7th chord. So on A minor 7, on beat 3 I'm playing this. On beat 4 I'm playing sort of C sharp 7th. That leads to D7. And then here the melody changes at the end on that D chord. I used to. It goes down from that C to B flat to G. And there I played a little triplet thing using the open D and G string. And then I hammer on from G to F sharp to G. And that is, wow, second time. So now we're going to a new direction in the chord progression, sort of a B segment. Since you went away. Super simple, just two chords. We're landing on that G minor at the end, and then we pick up from there F sharp on the D string. Since you went away. And this is an A minor 7 flat 5 chord. And again, we have to be, well, very deliberate about the notes we pick. And I'm choosing this voicing, but the melody is all happening on the D string. Went away. Sorry. And now before we go to that D chord, I'm just grabbing a little A diminished chord over here. Just to spice it up a little bit. Since you went away. So on the D chord, I'm sliding to fret 7 on the D string, ending on the minor third of G. The days grow long. And here I'm doing a little arpeggio in G minor. Just following the G minor until we reach that D over here. And now this brings us to another round of the same melody and the same chords really, but I wanted to do something different here. So now we're using octave displacement. We're going one octave higher and playing the same melody, which sounds like this, and I think it's absolutely magical. Okay, so let me just explain it. It's not that difficult, and it's basically the same thing, one octave higher, apart from a little trick I'm using. So over here, we go to, and soon I hear So a pickup line again to C minor over here. Just a C minor chord, nothing spicy. So the melody plays this, landing on the fret 11 on the high E, and I'm just playing a C minor triad in triads, in triplets. Like this. And then the F7th chord again, I'm using this voicing. Just playing 4 notes in a row. And then for me this is the highlight of the whole tune basically. Old winter sun. And there I'm playing just a B flat major 7 again in triplets, so the melody ends on that fret 10 on the high E. And then I'm just playing those 3 notes as a sort of arpeggio. And then again we're going to that 4 chord, the E flat major 7th. And here it changes up a little bit. I'm playing a chromatic line that walks to that E flat in octaves. So fret 6 on G and fret 9 on the high E. And I'm playing it 1 fret higher. And then this is basically an A minor 7 flat 5 chord. I'm playing more of a diminished vibe over here with a cool trick that highlights the melody at the top string. But I miss you most of all. And the melody is... And underneath I'm just playing that diminished trick where you just slide down 3 frets. And now I'm just using the same 4 notes, but we're changing positions. The chord doesn't change, it's the same chord. And then after that A minor 7, it's actually a D7th chord, where the highest note is at A over here. So I'm releasing my index finger from that D string and just playing the D in the bass. And it's not a D7th, but it's a sort of a D7 with a flat 9, with that E flat over here in the chord. So you can play it like this as well. And I'm choosing this voicing because it works well with where we came from. My darling. So we go to My Darling, and that's the my where they sing my. I'm using a chord underneath to highlight that. A diminished again, which results beautifully to that G minor chord where the D is on top, darling. And here is a little turnaround where you see different things all the time. And what I did, I think it sounds very pretty, this. So I'm playing a descending line on the E, the low E, and the G string, where we go from fret 3 to both fret 2, playing that D on top still, on string 2 to fret 1, and then an E7 sharp 9, ode to the legend Jimmy. Yeah, I think it's very pretty, and I'm using that chord to create a little bit more tension. It lingers on that chord longer than you would see usually. And then finally we hear the autumn leaves. When autumn leaves start to fall. So we're hanging on that E7th chord. E7 sharp 9, and then we play a G string open, and this is traditionally an A minor 7 flat 5, and I'm playing this chord, sort of very similar, but then with an F sharp in the bass, so you can call it A minor 7 flat 5 over F sharp or F sharp diminished. I didn't really think about the chords when it just sounded great. That's how I arranged this whole thing, by the way. I wasn't really thinking in theoretical terms, but that's what I used to explain it. And then we played a B flat, fret 3, to D7 over F sharp. The falling leaves, and then start to fall. flat 13. The melody is and it ends on that G. Just a G power chord I'm using really. I think that resolves beautiful, like this. If you enjoyed this lesson, there's so much more to be found at Next Level Playing, my online course for intermediate guitarists. It's a carefully put together roadmap that takes you through 7 levels of everything you need to know to become good at guitar. And at the end of each of the 7 levels, there's an awesome solo that takes you through everything we've learned in a playful way. So if any of these things I talked about today in this video went over your head, I think you're gonna love it inside Next Level Playing. Join me now and find out more at nextlevelplaying.com. And then I did a little lick at the end. I think I did this. I'm thinking minor to 9 to minor to 5th and then to major 7th. And then doing it 3 times in the octave. So a very pretty tune to play, especially in this time of year. I would love to see you play this. So please, if you do, tag me on Instagram at @PaulDavisGuitar. I'd love to see it. #AutumnLeaves. And yeah, the tabs again are available at my Patreon page if you want to download the whole thing. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you next time with another video. Have a lovely day. Goodbye.